Hello, and welcome back to Kylie Quickle's Bookworks for another episode of how many books did Kylie say she was going to read this month but didn't? It's 15. That's what I ended up reading. So I'm going to walk you through what I read this month, and then I have that whole stack of books back there to read for February. So I'm going to get started on that today because I do have a snow day. So let's jump into it. Alright, so first off, I finished reading Warstorm by Victoria Aveyard, and I did a review on the Red Queen series, which you can check out. It's with my other videos on my channel. Next, I read the Infernal Devices series by Cassandra, Clare, who I do not support. I don't support her. So I read Clockwork Angel, Clockwork Prince, and Clockwork Princess. I also did a review on that series that you can go check out if you're interested. Next I finished City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. I have City of Ashes to read next. I'm basically just going to do a review of a whole ton of series. Let me know if there's anything specific you want to see, because as of right now, I'm just rereading a lot of my bookshelf. So if there's any specific series you want me to review or read, drop them below and I'll be happy to give them a read. So next, I read Mexican Gothic by Moreno-Garcia. Apologies if I pronounced that wrong. Which was a dark academia Gothic sort of book, which I loved. It was pretty short. It got me out of a reading slump, so I would go check that out. Just be aware of trigger warnings for that book. Next, I finally finished We Hunt the Flame. I got halfway through the audiobook, I think in December, and then I finally finished in January. It was really good. I really enjoyed all the characters, and I believe the second book had just came out, so I'm really excited to read that one, and I've heard that it's really good so far. Next, I finally read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, which I feel like I've had a couple people wanting me to read. I know that it's pretty popular. I thought it was really good. I really enjoyed it. I loved the 50s and 60s vibes, and of this completely amazing lead heroine who just sort of did whatever and got whatever she wanted. And I like how the author portrayed Evelyn not as a good person. She was more morally gray. She did what she had to do, and she did whatever she had to do to get what she wanted. And I really enjoyed that, because I think those morally gray characters are really cool. Next, I finished Dear Justyce, which is the sequel to Dear Martin by Nick Stone. I really enjoyed the book. I thought it was a really good sequel to the first one. I really like Nick Stone's storytelling, and I think that she did a really good job on it. Next, I read Watch Over Me by Nina LaCour. It reminded me a lot of, I think it's Haunting of Bly Manor? Yeah, I think so. It reminded me a lot of that, where it's just sort of this nanny and then there's this house, but it was a farmhouse, not a big manor. Overall, I think I gave it 3 out of 5 stars, because although the story was very interesting, I think that sorry, that's my brother. And we're back, my friend. Sorry about that. My little brother has been trying to play with me all morning, and he's 3, so he comes and aggressively knocks on my door. But I'm filming this. So, anyways, back to where I was. About Watch Over Me by Nina LaCour. Basically, it was really good, and it wasn't really good. The idea for the story was really good, but the ending was really confusing, because by the end I had no idea what happened. And I think she faced her fears, and overcame them. I think that's what the book was sort of a metaphor for, but nothing was concrete, and so I ended the book so confused. Next, I read These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong, which is it's the first book in a while that, like, I stayed up really late reading because I couldn't put it down. If you haven't read These Violent Delights, like, please go do. I thought it was really good. It is a Romeo and Juliet retelling, but I think that it's really well done, where it still has the same sort of essence of it, but it doesn't follow Shakespeare's, like, story point by point. That's not what it's meant to do. It stands really well on its own, and it has its own story to tell, and I really, really enjoyed it. I think the characters were really cool. There's supposed to be a sequel, I believe, coming out next year called These Violent Ends. So I'm really excited for it. The book ended on a cliffhanger, which is like one of those things where, like, once you finish it, you just sort of sit there and you want to throw the book, but you can't. So I'm really excited for it. Next, I read Outliers, The Stories of Success by Malcolm Gladwell, which is for school. It was pretty good. The second half of the book was bleh. It completely went off track, and then there was 2 chapters talking about airplanes and aviators, and I don't know a whole ton of stuff about airplanes, and so I was lost in the first place, but then Gladwell, like, dragged his metaphor on for 2 chapters, and I didn't think that it was worth it, and then at the end it just sort of all fell apart, and there wasn't, like, a solid conclusion. But the first half of the book, like, I loved. I thought it was really interesting, and I sped through it. I think I read the first half of the book in, like, a couple hours, but that's also because I had to cram for a Socratic seminar the day after. So, next I read Don't Call Us Dead, which is a collection of poems. I don't remember the author's name, but as always, it'll all be listed below. But it was really good, and I thought that it's another one of those books where it's just sort of really eye-opening to a different part of life that I never get to see just because of who I am, and I thought that it was a really good read. The author, the way he wrote, everything was really powerful and moving, and his word choice and the way he worded things and, like, sort of put them together, I think really told this story, and I really enjoyed his metaphors. Just sort of the way he compared everything, and I thought that was really cool. And then next I've read They Wish They Were Us. To be completely honest with you, I think I finished this book with a 2 out of 5 stars. The first couple chapters were, like, really good, and I thought it was going to be like The Secret History by Donna Tartt, which I loved, but They Wish They Were Us was not good. I called the killer from, I believe, like, the first, like, 3 or 4 chapters. So, you know, at the end, when it did turn out to be the correct character, I was like, oh, well, that's boring, you know, because I figured it out from, like, day 1. But the writing was okay. I thought the plot was a little cliche, but I don't know. That may just be me, but I had higher standards for it. It didn't meet them. I think by itself, like, it's a pretty good YA book. It's one of those books where I think a lot of people would just, like, read and enjoy, but if I'm critiquing it, then I didn't think it was very good. Next, last night I crammed in the whole audiobook of Persuasion by Jane Austen, and I have literally no idea how I did it. Most of the time I listened to it at 2 times speed. Overall it was pretty good. I like Jane Austen's work, although I do think a lot of her novels are very similar. So, that's my brother again. I'll be right back. And we are back once again. Anyway, so as I was saying, Persuasion by Jane Austen, I think a lot of her books have, like, the exact same plot, but they're also still, like, pretty enjoyable, I guess. That was okay. You know, it's a Jane Austen book. So, other than that, that's my January wrap-up. I read 15 books in total. Pretty good. I'm behind on my Goodreads goal, but I'm hoping that February will fix that, because, you know, I have a snow day today, so I'm just gonna cram in a couple of books. But, yeah, so I hope you all have a good rest of your week, and hopefully February goes well for you. Signing off.